Whoa, that looks so weird on the monitor. Hey everyone, how you doing? If you are new here, I'm Nicol Concilio and welcome to the video, y'all. Today, we are going to be talking about crystals, sage, astrology, and more. No, but really, you guys, this has been probably one of my most requested videos since I mentioned it like months back. I've been waiting to collect the right information, the right details, the right crystals that I wanted to show you guys and everything. And before I get into anything, I just want to give a shout out to my girl Sally. She is a energy healer and like a psychic medium. I really love her and have learned so much knowledge just about like crystals and like earth and everything in general. And I understand that this is not for everyone, and I totally respect that. Please feel free to click away and go to my next video. The reason that I'm even talking about crystals and sage and astrology and all of that is because it's something that I find really helps with my mental health and my anxiety. You guys know I've been very open and candid about my daily struggles with anxiety and depression and just feeling good enough in this world. So crystals, oddly enough, is just something that really helps calm me down. You just kind of feel their energy, feel their vibe. I don't know, it could be a placebo thing. Maybe I'm a little cuckoo. Maybe we're all a little cuckoo. But I do really think that crystals are amazing. And for the most part, crystals should be kept sacred and to yourself. The only reason I'm showing you guys these ones is for educational purposes. Otherwise, you guys don't really see me showing crystals that much. And that's just because they are supposed to be kept sacred. You're not supposed to let anybody touch them. No one should really breathe on them. Nothing, okay? Nobody come near my crystals. If you come to my house and you touch my crystals, no, I'm just kidding. Also, if you guys don't feel like crystals or inanimate objects or anything like that are for you, I do recommend like getting maybe a journal and writing down your journal, like things that happened in the day, or reading daily affirmations. Sometimes getting your thoughts out on papers, like writing it down in a journal, really helps to release your anxiety. That's what I do a lot of the times. Like I'll just write down even on my phone, like when I'm feeling anxious. I did a makeup look with glitter and now I can't stop finding glitter all over my face. I almost feel like crazy saying some of this stuff, but it really has helped me with my anxiety, and that's one of the main reasons why I love crystals and talk about them. But basically, depending on where you get your crystal, it could be from a store, it could be from a different country, it could be from Amazon, it could be from like a little hole-in-the-wall shop around the corner of your street. You have to like do something which is called cleanse and kind of program your crystals so that they connect to you and won't get anybody else's like outside energy. Because if you get them from a store, other people are picking them up, touching them, and like, you know, even on Amazon, the people that are packaging it, anyway you get your crystals, you always want to cleanse them. And the best way that I recommend to cleanse them is either putting them out on a full moon. It has to be a full moon in order to like charge up the crystal. Or you could do this thing where you kind of like, and this is actually not something that I got from my girl Sally. This is actually something that Yoli taught me, is what you could do is kind of like put your crystal in warm water with salt and kind of let it charge itself in there, and like that kind of cleanses it. And what I mean by program them is like you have to set good intentions for them. So whether you're like stressed out at work, or you're stressed out financially, or your anxiety is really bad, or anything like that, you can get your type of crystal and in your mind just know that this crystal is gonna bring good positive energy into your life. And that's what I mean by setting the intentions for it. People do have a ton of different methods. There's no right or really wrong way of doing this. A lot of people think that your crystal should have 24 hours of the sunlight with the full moon to kind of recharge it all and everything. Either way, I recommend just like cleaning them with like warm water and salt, or you can just like put them outside the next full moon and just set good intentions. And whether that be through prayer or through your journal or just just in your mind. Like, what I like to do is, I don't necessarily like pray to the crystal. I'm not like, almighty crystal upon earth, please give me the powers. Like, it's none of that weird shit, okay? It's none of that weird shit. It's like, okay, here's my crystal. I'm holding on to it when I'm anxious, kind of playing around with it in my hand. And then it's just kind of like a fidget spinner in a way too. You know how fidget spinners were like the craze a few years ago? It's like something similar to that. And then when I put them outside, when it's a full moon, I'm always like, you guys know I always tweet, I'm like, put your crystals outside, it's a full moon. Like, I'll always try to let you guys know. But like, you know, just kind of setting good intentions for them. Like, okay, this crystal is going to bring positivity into my life. This crystal is going to help with my work life. This crystal is going to help with my relationship life. And there's different meanings for every crystal. And that's what I'm going to go through now with you guys. Also, you guys, you know what I mean? Like, I know that this video isn't going to be for everybody, but it's also like similar in the way that like if I recommend a foundation, it may not work for everyone. So, you know, this is just like my journey and what I've done that has dramatically helped my mental health, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. This puppy right here, look at how pretty it is. This is blue kyanite, and again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing all of these names correctly. You guys know I'm the worst name pronouncer in the history of pronouncing words. So I'm really sorry if I butcher some of these names, but I feel like you'll get the gist of what I'm saying. Basically, this helps a lot to alleviate stress. It helps with better communication and with expression. So I find that just having this crystal where I spend a lot of my time, so a lot of my time is spent in my living room. So I have a lot of crystals just like kind of panned out throughout my house and like in the rooms where I spend the most time, if that makes sense. That way that you can really feel the energy from a crystal, and that way you can really like kind of just look at it and it brightens your day. I mean, they're so friggin' beautiful to even look at. If anything you want to take from this is just how beautiful crystals are, and that like this is something that our earth does, and it's pretty freaking cool. So again, blue kyanite, and it helps to alleviate stress and helps with communication. I highly recommend this one if you're feeling like stressed at work. It would be really cool or good to have in your place of work. It'll just help with vibes. So this next one I want to show you guys is a crystal quartz cluster, and this is really good for purity. Like this puppy right here, beyond it being beautiful and just luxurious looking, this is definitely one of the more popular crystals because of its just the way that you look at it. Everybody's like, this is like a typical crystal, I feel like. This is a cluster. They do sell like huge, freaking huge ones, but I like to work with smaller ones just because I feel like they're a little bit more compact. You could travel with them, you could take them with you, you know, but this one, it really just helps for purity. So if you feel like you need a fresh start, or if you feel kind of like cloudy or anything, this is a really good crystal to have. It's probably really good to have during Mercury retrograde as well, which I'll talk about a little bit later with our astrology session of this. I just find that this is really good even for like new beginnings, you know, going through a breakup, a new job, whatever, a new house. Like, it's just really good. It radiates purity, if that makes sense. This next one right here is called Aquamarine, and I automatically think of JoJo and that movie where she turns into a mermaid. But this one is really good to have for traveling. So if you have stress for traveling, this is really good. It also brings more purity into your life. It soothes like any mental discomfort you'll have going on. So like if you're afraid to fly or if you're afraid to do anything like that, this would be a good crystal to just have, because, or even if car trips, road trips, wherever you're going, like this is a pretty good crystal to have because it just kind of brings, again, that purity, that clarity that you're looking for when you are really stressed. And I used to be a very stressed out traveler before I had to travel a lot for work. I would be so stressed out traveling, especially in long car rides. And I find that just like, you know, having this with me, it just helps a little bit. And again, you guys, I'm going to try my best to list every crystal that I mention below for you guys, but I hope I'm talking kind of like slow enough where if you wanted to write something down, you're good. This next one is one of my favorites. This is green tourmaline. I'm a really big fan of tourmaline in general, but this has really beautiful like green pieces of a tourmaline crystal inside of this like cluster, I guess you would call it. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit more so that you guys can see, or actually let me hold it out in front. Yeah, there you can really see it. It's really, really pretty, this crystal. Those emeralds. This one really helps with emotional pain. So if you're someone who gets emotional, like, hey, I get very emotional from time to time. And if you're someone who like gets easily upset over things, this could be a pretty good crystal to have in your collection. It also helps with your connection with loved ones just in general. Like, you know, if you are a more emotional person, this can kind of help any relationships that you're in. This one I've read online and even from Sally's guidelines to make sure that everything I'm saying is accurate. This is really good for emotional pain. I had this one when Mo was going through surgery. Like this is a great crystal to have, like, you know, if you're just like emotionally all over the place. Which, hi, that's me 90% of the time. This next one is a good one. This one is called Blue Calcite. This is what it looks like. Very, very pretty. Seriously, one of my favorite crystals. It really helps with inner peace and tranquility. So if you feel like you're fighting almost a battle in your mind or a battle in your everyday life, this just helps bring peace into your household or to wherever you are. You could take it with you. That's also why I kind of like to work with these smaller crystals, because they're easier to take with me on the go when I'm, you know, anxious or whatever. Like I take this one on a lot of brand trips because, you know, brand trips could be overwhelming. It's a lot of big personalities in one place. So, you know, just in general, this little guy right here has helped me out a lot. And plus it's like one of the prettiest colors. I love that blue gray. I held it up because I was trying to compare it to my eyeshadow. Now this one is probably one of the most important crystals that I'm going to mention. If you are on a budget of any sort and can't get a crystal, or you know what I mean, whatever it may be, this is the one crystal that I highly recommend, and I recommend it to a lot of people. This right here is black tourmaline. And a lot of the times you won't see it with this white cluster on it. It's because these crystals were given to me from Brazil, so they're a little bit different than your average crystal. Like one website I really like to use, and this is not sponsored in any way, is called Energy Muse. I follow them on Instagram. They have a lot of really beautiful crystals with great explanations for everything. But a lot of the times, like this white part will be removed. And that's okay. That doesn't make the crystal any less like whatever. But black tourmaline is amazing because it helps get rid of any negative energies. It's very grounding and just removes all of the bad. So this is something that I was working heavily with last year when I was going through all of my house problems, which I will touch base on very soon, but especially with our sage portion of this little chit chat. But black tourmaline is really great. I highly, highly recommend it in places where you're stressed very easily or where you just feel like a little eerie. I'm going to give you guys a example. This is so awkward, but I'm just going to say it. When I was living in my old apartment and there was a breakup that occurred there and I still lived there, there was a lot of negative energy I felt in that apartment, and even my dad felt it. So I got a lot of black tourmaline. I put it all over the place and just kind of cleansed, and instantly, I don't know if it's placebo, but I really do feel that crystals have just special energy that you can feel. And I really honestly find this black tourmaline helps me more than almost any crystal out there because I have a lot of negative energy around me. I think anyone in the entertainment industry, there's a lot of negative energy around us at any given time, and just in the world. Like, there's a lot of crazy shit that happens in this world, and I highly recommend black tourmaline. Now listen, I'm not saying it's gonna fix like any toxic situation. Like if you're in a toxic bad situation with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, crystals ain't gonna help you out. I'm just saying, when you feel like life has got you down and you're at rock bottom and all this bad shit keeps happening to you, I really have found that crystals have helped me. They really have. And black tourmaline Everybody freaking needs it, so go out and get it. No, really though, I'm not forcing you guys to go out and get these crystals. You know you don't have to do that if you're watching this video, but if you are interested, I recommend black tourmaline as one of your firsts if you are new into crystals, because it's just a really great one to have. And sticking with the tourmaline family, we have pink tourmaline, and this one is really good for harmony and love, your expression of love, and this is what it looks like. Really pretty. It actually has like a pink little crystal there. I'm gonna hold it out so you guys can see. It's very, very beautiful. Like, that's another reason why my interest in crystals has grown to be this large. It's because like they're just so beautiful, and the fact that they're naturally here in this earth is mind-blowing to me. But yeah, this one helps with love and harmony in your life. So if you feel like, you know, you need a little extra love in your life or whatever, a pink tourmaline is really good to have around. And just in general, for that harmony, everything aligning perfectly with the stars, pink tourmaline is really good. I'm a big fan of the tourmaline family, if you couldn't tell. If you are dabbling into crystals, and like I said, the number one I recommend is black tourmaline. This right here is going to be the second that I recommend. It is called Emerald in Matrix. Now, this one is very, very unique in the fact that it has all different colors of green, and it has like kind of like turquoise, but then it also is like combined to a rock. Like, it's just crazy the way that this one looks. And this one brings a lot of good energy into your life. Not only like good health, but good financial energy, just good all around. This is a really good stone to just have. Keep it in your purse, take it with you on the go, have it in your house. You of course can get bigger versions of this. Like I said, I like to keep my crystals tiny, that way I can travel with them. I don't think it really matters like how big or small they are. Obviously, yeah, big ones are beautiful and gorgeous, but I think even a small one like this probably would cost you like $4 or $5, but like it's still good to have. Like, it's still a good crystal to have, to hold on to set good intentions, just have good vibes all around. And since there are so many crystals out there are about like 10 crystals out there that I can think of off the top of my head that will help with financial things or love or whatever. So like, you know, you could go to different websites and check it out, and there are going to be different crystals, but these are just like my favorites too. So just keep that in mind. This next one is one I recommend as your third crystal if you are just starting out with crystals. This is an elestial twin quartz, and it's very, very pretty. Again, has that really clear, a lot of people like are attracted to those clear crystals, so this is a very popular one to have. It helps with inner strength, and this is the one that's helped me the most with my anxiety, because like no matter how many times I've felt like giving up or like this is it, or like how could I get any worse than I am right now, like I've always had that inner strength. So I find that I resonate a lot with this one, and it's just like uplifting. I don't know, just something about it is very like beautiful, and even when I'm around my crystals, it's so hard for me to like be sad, because I'm like, these are so gorgeous, and then I just start going off on a tangent about how like this was made in our earth, and our earth is so beautiful. And if you guys haven't seen the Netflix show One Strange Rock or One Large Rock, what the is it called? I think it's called One Strange Rock, and Will Smith narrates it. That show got me all up in my feels, okay? I was like crying and thanking the atmosphere in one of the episodes. Like, it's just really mind-blowing what this earth can do, and how like, it's just mind-blowing. I highly recommend watching that as well. But yeah, this puppy right here is really great for anxiety. And just when you're having a bad day, you know, shit, we all have them. This next crystal is called malachite, and I really like this one because it helps with prosperity and health. So this is what it looks like. It's very, very pretty. More of like that stone vibe, less like crystally looking, but more of a stone vibe. And this, again, I like them small to travel with me, but this one's really good for just like prosperity and health, keeping everyone, you know, good. I got this one right after Mo had his surgery. I was like, nobody's getting hurt anymore, okay? No more injuries, no more surgeries. This is it, okay? Like, no more. So this is a really good one if, like, you know, if you're struggling with health, or you're sick a lot, or, you know, just in general, like, prosperity. And this right here is my most prized possession. This is my favorite crystal that I own. It's beyond beautiful. I mean, you can see with the light reflecting off of it, it's just gorgeous. This is an amethyst cluster with calcite. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I'm saying that right. Amethyst is really, really good to have. Like, it's one of my favorite crystals. It's beautiful. And this is a cleanser of harmful energy. And if you are like a jinx like me over here, this is something really good to have, especially like if you are someone that has lots of house guests, or, you know, there's always that one person in the family where you're like, oh God, you got to bring their negative vibes into your house, or whatever the situation is. This is just really good to have, especially really good. Amethyst is really good to have near where you sleep, because I don't know about you guys, but I suffer from really bad insomnia, and my mind gets really bad at night. I start thinking of the worst situation, worst possible things ever in life. And I find that the amethyst has helped me a lot with that. Like, just having it even on my nightstand, like, has helped me tremendously, because I'm like, you know what, I have this protection of this crystal. Nothing bad's gonna get me, nothing bad's gonna happen to me. I used to have really bad night terrors when I was younger. I would like scream in my sleep. It even happened to me sometimes in college. Like, it was not cute. Like, the best way I can describe it is, if you are a Twilight fan, which, hi, I used to love the Twilight series back in the day, when Bella keeps having night terrors about Edward, like, visiting her in her dreams. Like, that's the kind of shit that would happen to me. Like, and that was all based off of anxiety-ridden stuff. So having the amethyst near my bed has helped out a lot. So yeah, these are all of my favorite crystals to have, and the purposes and the meanings of them. So moving on, I want to talk a little bit about sage. I tweeted something out the other day about how there's a very big common misconception about sage. And a few people were like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. And allow me to elaborate. The thing with sage is that even though it will cleanse out negative energy, you're also opening up the path and running into a risk factor of awakening negative energy without officially or correctly removing it. So even though you're like having good intentions to use sage and like cleanse your house, or wherever you're gonna cleanse, your workroom, your car, wherever the hell you're cleansing, you do run that risk of awakening negative energies without removing it fully. And I saged my house before, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, oh yeah, just like sage and a peacock feather, like that's all you need. No, okay, I saged my house, and all of those effing problems started happening with my house. I needed a whole new air conditioner unit. I had random things just falling off the walls. Like, there were like little like random door, like these cabinets I have in my kitchen, they just started falling off the door hinge. And I'm like, what the fuck? And all of these random plumbing issues that were going on. There were a lot of bad things that happened to me in a row. And I highly believe it's because I was using sage the wrong way. It's not that sage is necessarily a bad thing. You just have to know what you're doing and using it correctly. It should be done, honestly, under supervision of someone who knows how to use it and who is familiar with like energy cleansing. It's definitely not as beginner friendly as we think. Like, everybody, like, that's another reason why like I hate how mainstream and how trendy it's become to be like into crystals and astrology and, you know, Mercury retrograde and the stars and the planets and all that. But like, sage really isn't as beginner friendly as people think it is. And if you do use sage, all I can say is like, I'm just telling you to be extra careful. It's not something for someone to use daily. It's not something to be taken lightly. Like, sage is a very serious thing. And that's why I really recommend incense. And that's what I've been working with more, is incense. Like, whenever I feel like there's just negative energy in my home, or whenever I feel like, oh, you know, I have a bad vibe or a bad attitude, I'll just light up some incense. Incense can be used daily to get rid of any of that negative vibes going on in your house or in your life or in just in your mind in general. So that's why I say I more or less recommend going with incense rather than sage. Sage is like pretty to have around, but like if you don't know what you're doing with it, don't touch it, okay? Just let it be. Just go get some incense, okay? Do me a favor. Learn from my mistakes. And now for astrology. A lot of what I base my knowledge off of is from an app called CoStar. And no, this is not sponsored. I freaking wish it was because I would love to get an astrology sponsorship. I am a Sagittarius. And as you guys know, like I've explained a lot on my Twitter. Twitter is where I get like very spiritual, if you will. With this app, you can find your chart and it does a really good job of explaining everything because like even though I'm a Sagittarius, that doesn't really tell me much about myself because you really need to know more about your moon sign, your rising sign, like Venus and all this Mercury, all that shit. Like not that it's shit, but like you know what I mean? Like for me, my moon is in Leo, and moon is more of your emotions and who you are more of a person, more as a person. This is what you think of yourself, like, and it also kind of messes a little bit with your mood and your feelings. So like for me, my moon is in Leo. So my moon is in Leo, meaning that I'm an emotional person. I'm expressive, I'm idealistic, I'm optimistic, and somewhat self-centered. I don't think that I'm self-centered at all, but also I'm in this very vain industry. And not everything is as true as what they say, like some bits and pieces of it. And it says that I need lots of love and care in my life. And that I sometimes seek validation in others. And that's very, very true. And that also coincides with my anxiety. Like I always feel like I'm a burden. I don't know. I've always felt that way. My rising sign or my ascending sign is in Cancer. And this is how you present yourself to the world. So for Cancer, and I'm reading this directly off of the app, you guys. So like this is something, people tweet me all the time. They're like, read my chart. And I'm like, no, just use the app. Like it'll tell you right then and there, you know? Because even I don't know everything. Like I know myself really good, but that's just because it's myself. And I know the basic signs. Like I know like Gemini is split personality. I know Virgos, I don't really get along with that well. Like, you know, just like in general, like I know to stay far the hell away from male Tauruses. Like, you know, just like, you know, but women Tauruses kick fucking ass and I love them. So, you know, it really just depends. And basically, I'll read you guys. My ascendant is in Cancer, meaning I come across as gentle, intuitive, warm, though I may come off sometimes as emotional or sensitive, which is very true. Like I wouldn't say that I'm like a sensitive person, but I definitely would say I am more of an emotional person. My Mercury is in Sagittarius, and this determines how I communicate, talk, and think. This is for me, so I'm a very blunt person, and that falls under being in the realm of a Sagittarius, but also my Mercury is in Sagittarius, and that's how I communicate and talk, so that's triple whammy, okay? I'm expansive, I'm boundary pushing, I'm independent and sincere. I have critical opinions of most things, but I'm a big picture thinker. You find yourself unconcerned with details. You are just a big picture thinker, which is very true. My Venus is in Aquarius, and Venus determines how and what you love. So for me, it indicates my expression of affection. So this means I'm a very romantic person. I'm intellectual, somewhat detached. I'm very bubbly and obvious when I like someone. Very, very true. I mean, Riley knew I liked him within like 5 minutes of us talking. My Mars is in Cancer, and Mars is your aggressive side. Like that says whether or not you're an aggressive person. And it determines how you assert yourself, how you take action. And for me, it means that I assert myself in a way that is emotional and somewhat passive aggressive. You push things forward only when you feel safe and secure, and that's very true. I can be passive aggressive at times. I don't mean to be, but that's just because I'm not a very confrontational person, so I'll kind of just be like, yeah, whatever, okay. Like, you know, like I'll just be like, we could have done that, but it's fine. Like that's like my way of things. And the last thing I'm going to read to you guys is Jupiter. My Jupiter is in Libra, and Jupiter rules idealism, optimistic, and expansions. And since mine is in Libra, this means I grow and find understanding through harmony, balance, and seeing both sides to situations, which is very, very freaking true. So I highly recommend this app. It even tells you your numbers, your houses, all of this stuff. Like, it's very, very good. I highly recommend it. Again, it's co-star. And then another app that actually one of my managers, Mallory, recommended to me is called The Pattern. I haven't really checked that one out as much. But yeah, I hope that this was a very educational and fun video for you guys. I'm sorry I just blabbed the whole freaking time, but this is a long video with a lot of information that I wanted to make sure that I spread to y'all. I love you guys so much. Thank you for allowing me to do this video and allowing me to be passionate about something else on my channel besides beauty. I really appreciate it. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys, and again, I realize crystals are not for everyone, and I totally respect everybody's opinion on them and astrology and all of this stuff that I've been talking about. So I love you guys. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.